back to my channel. Today I am going to share with you guys my favorite makeup tutorial to wear when we are doing like family pictures or just photographs in general. So recently I mentioned in my Clé de Peau foundation review that we were going to be doing family pictures this weekend, and today is the day. When you're taking pictures, the makeup tutorial is a little bit more, it's a little bit heavier than it would be just on a regular daily basis. So I decided to go ahead and turn the camera on and share with you guys my favorite makeup tutorial and share some tips and tricks along the way to help your photographs turn out a little bit better when it comes to your makeup. So I hope that you guys are excited about this video. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight into the makeup tutorial. I can't do my makeup with my hair in my face. I always have to pull it back. When I watch other people do their makeup on, you know, YouTube and stuff, it actually bugs me to watch them put the makeup on with their hair in their face. All right, so I'm going to put on some of my Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream. I've been really enjoying this for a base for my makeup. I've already applied my moisturizer with sunscreen. That's been about an hour and a half ago, but now I like to put on a little bit of the Magic Cream just to kind of just have a nice base so that the foundation can really melt into the skin. You guys know I really love the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Rich Face Base as well. I'm almost out of the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream, so I think I will go back to using the Bobbi Brown more, and then, you know, maybe the next Sephora sale or something, I'll grab another bottle of the Magic Cream. But the thing I like about the Magic Cream and the Bobbi Brown is you don't need to use that much, so it lasts you a really long time. I'm also going to add the Bobbi Brown Eye Base, just so that when I put concealer on, it will have, you know, some moisture underneath there. I mentioned in my Clé de Peau review, this is the Clé de Peau Radiant Matte Fluid Foundation. So I just reviewed this. If you haven't seen that video, I will link it up here in the iCards. And I mentioned that I was going to use that foundation for my pictures because it does really photograph beautifully. But I have to tell you, I have been kind of playing around with this La Mer. I bought this foundation in the shade Suede, and I just did not feel like this shade matched me very good, and I've used it quite a bit, and I just didn't love the foundation. So many people rave about this foundation, and so many of those people that rave about this foundation love the same foundations that I do. So about a month ago, I ordered the shade Honey, and I love this shade, and I'm actually really enjoying the foundation, which is really crazy. This one photographs beautifully as well. I think I'm gonna apply the La Mer foundation. I've just been really liking it. I can see why it's a favorite because it's beautiful. It was just, I struggled trying to find the right shade, and you know, but once I found the right shade, I like it. So I'm going to use my BK Beauty brush that's dirty. I really need to clean it. I'm excited to take family pictures. We're going to probably be a little cold because it's in the 60s today, so might be a little cold, but at the end of the video, I will share a few pictures with you guys. My daughter just dyed her hair like really dark. That's the thing right now, you guys. Like everybody. So even like when my daughter went in to get her hair colored from my stylist, she was like, "You are the fourth person that has sat in my chair today and asked for black hair." Her hair's pretty dark. It's not fully black, but it's really dark. It's the style right now. It looks really pretty on her though. She loves it, and that's all that matters at the end of the day, is that if she loves it. I've got the base done, and you can see that this is a beautiful foundation. It really is. And like the days that I've worn it, it has really lasted a long time, and it just has that really soft look to the skin, and it just looks really healthy and really beautiful, and I have really enjoyed it. I am surprised that I like it because I really hated it the first few times that I tried it with that other shade. But now that I have this shade, I actually really like it. It's surprising. I'm going to do my brows off camera just because it can be a little redundant, but If you guys haven't seen my brow video that I just uploaded a couple of days ago, I was testing out like 5 different brow pens. That will be the technique that I'm going to use to put on my brows. So I will link that up in the iCards if you guys want to watch that brow tutorial. I did kind of 5 of them. So I'm going to go ahead and go off camera and I will be right back. Brows are done. Not my best work, but I'm just really, really hoping that this palette just kind of makes the brows not as noticeable. So this is one of my favorite palettes to use when I'm going to do photographs. This just sparkles and it's so beautiful. And that's kind of why you buy a Pat McGrath palette, for those special occasions where you want a lot of depth within your eyeshadow and you want it to shine. You know that Pat McGrath has this glitter formula over here that is just unmatched by any other brand. This is the Mothership 5 palette and it's stunning. So my plan is I'm going to use this as like a brow bone inner corner highlight. I'm going to use these 2 shades in the crease and I'm going to use this gorgeous rose gold. Because I'm going to use that rose gold shade, I'm not going to put any concealer on. When you're taking pictures and stuff, you want to make sure that this is nice and clean. Always, always, always do your eye makeup first. Always. I did do my base, but that's okay. I can always blend the concealer down into the base. And normally when I do my makeup, I don't get glitter like down in here. Fingers crossed that doesn't happen today. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this shade right up here and just start kind of highlighting it a little bit. Not a lot, just a little bit, just to give that brow bone some shine. So I'm going to first go into this shade right here. In her Mothership palettes, her mattes are always really pigmented. So I like to tap off just so that I can have control. I remember when I first used a Pat McGrath palette, there was so much pigment that I didn't even know what to do. Like I was blending for days. For me, I like to go in and kind of build pigment and build like the base. And so I don't like to go in with too much pigment. So I always tap off my brush because it's just easier for me. Now I'm going to go right here across the center and kind of build that dimension. Kind of pulling the shadow out. So I'm going to grab this shade right here and I'm going to create that V shape right there on the outer corner. So now I'm going to take that one brush that had some of that pigment left on it and I'm going to like blend out these edges. Now I'm going to go back into that lighter matte and place it right here and kind of blend those out. Now I'm just kind of perfecting that outer corner just till I get it nice and blended and kind of where I want it. So the best thing to do personally, in my experience with this formula in particular, is just going in with my finger. So let's not mind my nails. My nails are hideous right now. They're getting done next week. But I am going to press that rose gold shade right on the center of the lid. And then kind of using what's on my finger and blending it out. Oh, it's so pretty. Oh, it's such a beautiful shade. And this shade is definitely messy. Now I'm going to go back to the dark matte and going right over top of the glitter. Because I want to use that to kind of blend that glitter in. That's the reason why I wasn't being too particular with the crease, because I knew I was going to go in one more time. So I'm going to go into that lighter matte and blend out those edges. Okay, I'm going to wipe this right here just so that I can see exactly where that line's going to be. I'm just taking a clean brush and buffing out this edge right here. Just keep kind of pulling that shadow and blending it. And I'm going to go up underneath my lower lash line, and I'm just going to clean this up really good. Then I'm going to go ahead and put on my Bobbi brown back on there. And so I'll kind of let that set and do the other eye. I am actually going to spray some setting spray to kind of hold this gold glitter from falling down all over my face. So I'm going to grab the Urban Decay All Nighter spray and just spray one little squirt on each eye. Let that dry. I also added some black eyeliner up on my upper waterline. This is just the 1.5 millimeter eyeliner from Hourglass. Let's put on some concealer. I'm going to use my favorite Hourglass. This is in the shade Beech, and kind of spread it around. And then I'm going to take my sponge and kind of push it into the skin. Ah, I love this concealer. If you are somebody that likes to wear a light concealer underneath your eyes to highlight the under eye, that's totally fine, but be careful doing it on pictures, because if your concealer is way too light, it will show so bad. I always recommend choosing your concealer like 1 or 2 shades lighter than your foundation. Don't go too light. Let's move on to the lower lash line. I'm going to first grab this shade, just like I did on the upper crease. I'm going to blend out this outer corner to get rid of those lines, because I don't want that sharp. See how sharp this line is? I want to kind of blend this out so that it's not so sharp. I'm going to take my flat tip brush from Sigma, and I'm going to go into the dark matte. I'm going to smoke that in to the lower lash line. Now that I have that in, I'm just going to take a clean brush and just blend it out. I want to add just a tiny bit of pizzazz on the lid. So I'm going to grab the Mothership 6 palette, and I want to grab this beautiful shade on the corner. Now, this one kind of has that, the 5, but this one has like a green undertone, and this one's like a holographic. So I don't want holographic. I don't want any green. This one in the number 6 palette is more of just like a crushed diamond, and it's so pretty. I'm going to grab a tiny bit of that on my finger, but I am going to spray my finger with some setting spray just so that it doesn't start getting the glitter all over. And I'm going to place that right on the center of the lid. You can see it just gave it a little bit more shine. I mean, not a lot, but just enough. So for the inner corner, I'm going to grab a little teeny bit of this shade. My eyeshadow is complete. I threw on a pair of House of Lashes in collaboration with Patrick Ta in the style It's a Look. I've talked about them several times. They are becoming a favorite. So let's move on to the face. I'm going to contour with my Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate in Intensity 2. I'm going to focus this right here on... Oh, I got it up a little bit too high. If you do that, grab your sponge really fast and buff it out. I got it up a little too high. That's okay. It's an easy fix. I always like to have my beauty blender handy because you can't even tell I goofed, right? Carving out a little bit of dimension in the face because it'll definitely show up when I'm taking the pictures. I'm going to place a tiny bit right here and then blend it out. See how it just gave a little bit of curve to the forehead? But by blending it out with the sponge that you used for your foundation, the foundation on the sponge really helps to kind of diffuse the product. So let's move on to bronzer. I'm going to use the Charlotte Tilbury bronzer because it is a matte. And I'm gonna gently go right over top of this contour. So I'm gonna grab a little bit here on the Charlotte Tilbury brush and just go right over top. Now I used this bronzer because it's matte. I don't really want a super shimmery bronzer when I'm doing pictures. So now I'm gonna grab my favorite blush from Hourglass. This is in the shade Incandescent Electra. I'm gonna take a bigger brush and just gently apply it right here going up the cheek. When you're taking pictures, you want to add a little bit extra blush because blush is the first thing that kind of starts to fade on the face. And you want to make sure that you are really brightening up those cheeks so that it shows up in pictures. So let's go ahead and grab some powder to kind of buff all of this together. So I'm going to grab my Hourglass powder and just start kind of doing these buffing motions. I'm going to go ahead and set this with some setting spray, but I don't really want to add a lot of shine to my face. So I'm going to use this from Hourglass. This is the Veil Soft Focus Setting Spray. I'm just going to spray this. This sets your makeup without adding a lot of extra shine to it. Now I'm going to grab my Charlotte Tilbury powder. This is the Airbrush Flawless Finishing Powder. And this I will actually keep with me, keep it on deck during pictures just to kind of get rid of any shine on the face. Kind of bring it up and along here. Just for an added oomph on the cheek, I'm going to grab this from Patrick Ta. This is his blush duo. And I'm going to go into the cream right here and gently tap it right over top of my blush. It really brought that blush to life. So I'm going to use my Magic Star highlighter from Charlotte Tilbury. It's one of my favorites. And it's just kind of golden. And I'm going to place it right along the cheekbone here. So I'm going to first like contour my lips because I want them to be a little bit more fuller. So I am going to start right here and just bring that oomph right on the bottom. See how it just kind of made it fuller? By the way, I'm using the iconic nude from Charlotte Tilbury, which personally is my favorite to contour with. Then I'm going to take a brush and blend that out. Okay, so after lots of swatching, I think I'm going to grab this shade. I think this has, I don't really want it to be too pink, but I think this shade might perfectly match my eyeshadow look. It's from Chanel. This is the new shade 166 Timeless Beige. I love these. These are so amazing because, you know, this is my first experience. I bought 2 of them and I've been loving them because they're so long lasting and so easy to apply. So what you do is you take the actual lip color and you apply it, and then you let it dry and set up, and then you put the gloss that's on the other side, and then all you have to do to liven it up is reapply the gloss, which is really nice. So we're going to go ahead and apply the shade Timeless Beige. Then I'm going to take the brush and blend it into the lip liner. You got to do it quick before it dries. You'll feel it starts to get really tacky like this. See how it's kind of sticking? That's when you know it's getting dry. Now I'm gonna add the gloss. Now, one more thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna grab my, this is the Pat McGrath, oh, what is this called? I think this is her under eye powder. Mine's faded, so I can't see what it's exactly called, but I'm gonna take the shade medium. I'm gonna use my sponge that's not damp because it's been sitting here for a while, but it's not quite dry, so it's like right in between. And I'm gonna grab a little bit here on my sponge and just tap right over top of that like orange peel look on the cheek, and you can see it just really got rid of that. On a regular like daily basis, I don't love to do this because sometimes towards the end of the day it'll start to look a little bit cakey on me, but if I'm taking pictures, that is really going to smooth out that under eye in such a beautiful way. I'm going to grab some and stick it right there. So this is the final look, and I love the way that this makeup look turned out, and I'm excited to see what it's gonna look like in pictures. You guys are gonna see those pictures right now. So up here on the screen are some images of our family photos for 2020. It's been a crazy year, and you know, it started out really bad with losing my grandfather, which was the love of my life, and then COVID happened, and you guys know what happened after that. And it's just been a really rough year. And the one thing that I am grateful for is that I still have my family and my children are thriving, and I am grateful for that. And at the end of the day, no matter what's going on bad in the world or around you, that is what matters. A few tips that I wanted to share with you guys. You guys know that I love creamy based products. I love, you know, creamy blushes and stuff like that. Creamy products are great when you're just using them for like an everyday makeup look that's just really fresh and all natural. But when you're doing pictures, you want everything to be kind of more diffused and more perfected. So keep that in mind. Keep it nice and matte, and then highlighting certain points of your face just so the camera doesn't reflect off of your skin in weird ways. Another tip I want to share with you guys is to use Lumify. You guys, Lumify, this is like the best stuff. It gets rid of all of the redness in your eyes. So as you can see, my eyes are getting kind of bloodshot. I like to grab my Lumify and just put a few little drops right there on, I put it on the bottom lash line and then just kind of let it circulate through my eyeball. Just gets rid of your redness like a dream. Now, if you have a hard time putting eye drops in, you could put this in definitely before your eyeshadow. I don't mind putting it in after. It's very easy for me to put in. I think because I wear contacts, so I'm constantly putting my contacts in and out every single day. So I'm really used to, you know, putting eye drops in or, you know, taking my contacts out. But if you struggle with that and you don't want it to like drip all the way down on your makeup, then I would definitely do it before you do your eyeshadow. Or if you're going to be doing your eyeshadow first, which is what I recommend when you're doing photographs, once you've done the top of your eyeshadow, before you move on to the lower part, go ahead and put the Lumify in then you can go ahead and do your lower lash line makeup and do the rest of your makeup. But Lumify is the best to get rid of any redness in the eye. Highly recommend it. So some of the items that I'm going to take with me while we're doing photographs so that I have them there, I am going to grab a mirror. Obviously, you need a little handheld mirror. I am going to grab my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finishing Powder. Now, this one has a mirror, but 9 times out of 10, your mirror is going to be dirty. So, and this mirror is kind of hard to see. I like a bigger mirror. So, you know, if you don't want to take an extra mirror, you don't have to. You can just use the mirror on your finishing powder. So I'm going to take my finishing powder. I'm going to take the brush that I use to apply my finishing powder just so that I can dust it on the places that I need. I'm going to take my little dampened sponge. What I like to do is run it through the water one time and dampen it just a little bit. And then by the time I get to the location of the photographs, it will kind of be almost dry. It'll be at that perfect time where it's not too damp and not dry. Then I'm obviously going to take my lip product so that I can touch up and, you know, have that on hand. I also like to take a brush that has blush on it. I don't take my blush with me, but I like to take a brush that has a little bit left over. Because once you take that first photograph, you can see if you need a little bit more blush. Like I said, blush will be the first thing to wear off on the face. So I like to take my blush brush. The next thing I like to do is take a few pictures with my phone. So I will go ahead and grab my phone and do some selfies just to kind of see how the makeup is doing and what it's gonna look like in photographs. That's always a great thing because then you can kind of tweak it before you actually leave the house. So that's it. Those are my tips and tricks. Sound off down below. Let us know your favorite tips and tricks for your picture day with your family or just taking photographs in general. Sound off down below. I love hearing your guys' suggestions. You guys are awesome. So that's it for the video. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I hope that you guys enjoyed this makeup tutorial. If you like this kind of content, give me a thumbs up. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys all in my next video. Love you. Bye.